And at 10th place, we have Andrew Bowling on Chaos Tokoyami. Now, Andrew Bowling, after Webcam National, said, "I'm not just a dirty bird player, but when there's a bunch of money on the line, it's hard to ignore the strengths of Chaos Tokoyami." So this is the deck that Andrew got second at in the Webcam Nationals and could have taken it all, but unfortunately had a webcam disconnect. So we don't know what the future would hold depending on that tournament, but let's take a look at this deck list. 4 copies of Summon Dark Shadow, obviously obvious. 2 Giant Ice Wall, 3 Frigid Heatwave, 4 DSR, 2 Indiscriminate, 2 Frozen. This is the same as the Nats list. I don't think there's any differentiation between this and the Nats list. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Everyone else seemed to dump the Frozen Slash after Nationals, after Dallas Nats. I don't even know if we were on it, but especially after this last ban list. But very, very interesting to see only the 2 Ice Storm. So Andrew, where was Andrew in the standings? That's going to be a big indicator of our breaker count, I think. Andrew Bowling might have been on the bottom side of the bracket, but oh no, they were 9th place, so they were probably going to go first for most of the day, definitely early on. So 2 Ice Storm, you know, having our breakers in the sideboard, I can abide that. I can be fine with that. That's not upsetting me. But yeah, this is 4 Twisting Azure Inferno. This was hotly debated. We haven't seen the other Tokoyamis go up to 4, but we also didn't see the other Tokoyamis make it out of round 1. So 4 copies of Twisting Azure Inferno might be the correct play, but it's only 1 match, so that's not a ton of data to go off of. We did up our Petty Squabble count from 2 to 3, and now we're at 4-1 with Nature because we don't have Stronger in Darkness, and this card is just absolutely necessary for getting our damage pump in. 1 copy of Self-Assured. A lot of people didn't like this before because we didn't like 4 checks. You know what else is a 4 check? UA High. Play UA High. 2 copies of Irrefutable Mained, only 1 in the side. That's totally fine with me. 1 Frozen and 2 copies of Feeling Cute is definitely normal. 3 Chivalrous Competitor. Now we have 3 all worked up. This is pretty interesting. This is a fairly new development. This is to get more extension, right? This is to get even more out of our spam foundations. This is another foundation that counts as 2 foundations in a lot of ways. So very cool to see this card coming in. We have 3 Struggling with Studies, so 3 and 3 on these 2 anti-flip cards. Struggling with Studies is like actual card advantage, but only on defense. Chivalrous lets our opponent draw, but that doesn't matter if we have 1 with Nature out. So very similar cards doing a lot of the same stuff, and we've got so many copies of defense here. 4 Basic Training is the right number. 4 Easily Excited is so good in this deck. And then 3 Release to make sure that we've got plenty of high blocks, because after Stronger in Darkness is banned, this deck is a little hungry for high blocks. It's one of, you know, we're seeing a lot of decks now where low blocks are the most common zone because there's just so many amazing cards with low blocks, you know, especially defensive cards. Like it's insane. I mean, even the best aggro card is a low block, so definitely not starving for low blocks. The most noticeable thing about this list is 4 copies of Recovery Time in the sideboard. So we definitely saw a discard deck before. We've seen Eraserheads playing Binding Cloth Captures. If your rival tries to Petty Squabble you, you know, these come in the next game and you just draw a million cards. So yeah, this is a very known quantity. Not a lot to critique here. I'm a big fan of Electric Jolt. I'm a big fan of Freezer Burn, but you know, Frozen Slash can be doing that work. Frigid Heatwave is obviously super good, and it's a lower attack count. So I'm wondering if there's possibly maybe an issue with drawing attacks. Maybe Andrew was checking too poorly. I don't know, but normally we see the Tokoyamis at like 2021, even with the 55-56 attack or card count. So very interesting here, but yeah, with only 56 cards in the deck, going above 19 is getting risky. So yeah, very known quantity. A lot of people know about this, and I'm sure this deck works totally fine the way it is. It really just comes down to your personal preference when it comes to replacing the banned cards because all of the power is right here. All of the power is in Dark Shadow Ruin. It's in One with Nature. It's in Summon Dark Shadow. It's an absolutely nuts card to run with. So, yeah, Andrew Bowling, a new face on the scene, someone I've had on the podcast, an absolute delight to be around. We actually played some games at the Hero League Championship. We played some casuals. I was like falling asleep, so I felt really bad because I was like passing out while playing his Tokoyami list against them. And, you know, we also played one with they have a very, very spicy Deku list. So, yeah, a very cool deck builder, a very cool person, and congratulations on 10th place. I hope to see you at the second HLC